Yeah, no, it's literally styles makes fights, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And I think Dubois, his style is one of my trickiest. So yeah, it gels well.
If the big elite fights come knocking, Moses will want to take them. He's capable of taking those fights and winning those
Alexander
fights.
Usyk. Or he might knock him out. I don't know. But personally, at 20, you know, you got to get it right. And Frank, like I said, Frank knows what he's doing. And I think I'd be very surprised if they took that kind of test. Yeah.
Moses Itauma finally responds to Daniel Dubois calling him out, and what a sharp breakdown this is. Itauma is practically saying Dubois fights with the wrong identity, a heavyweight trapped in a middleweight shell. That's not praise, that's exposure, and it shows Moses sees glaring holes in Dubois' game.
He boxes like he's like a middleweight. You know what I mean? Like a sort of not an amateur boxer, but an amateur style, like jab move, or like pick your shots and move. Like he ain't meant to fight.
And it didn't stop there. Moses went even further in pulling back the curtain on Dubois. Moses doesn't sugarcoat it. He admits sparring Dubois had its moments, but look deeper. Itauma is telling us Dubois' style is awkward, not dangerous. There's a difference. Styles can irritate, but they don't break elite fighters. Moses is simply showing that he's already solved the Dubois puzzle in training.
Daniel Dubois, how are you getting on with Daniel, by the way? Do you even speak much? Like, how does it go?
Yeah, you know what? I'm actually surprised. He's completely different to what he portrays, like what people think he actually is. Like, no, I was surprised. But yeah, no, training with Dubois it's been good. Obviously in that high altitude in Spain as well. Yeah, I can't really ask for a better prep camp.
I think it was in that George Groves podcast, you talked about maybe your most difficult spot has been Daniel Dubois, because he's not like a plodder, he moves.
Yeah, no, it's literally styles makes fights, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And I think Dubois, his style is one of my trickiest. So yeah, it gels well.
Duke McKenzie calls it exactly how fans saw it. Dubois was beaten down, plain and simple, and while Dubois sinks, the spotlight shifts straight onto Moses Itauma, undefeated, untested, and unstoppable so far. Moses has smashed through every challenge. The hype isn't manufactured, it's earned, fight after fight.
Defeat on how badly he gets beat down, because what you saw last night with Dubois was a beat down. You know, everybody's talking about Moses Itauma, and rightly so, because he's beaten everything that's been put in front of him, you know, and he's starting to get a big reputation now. So, you know, we'll just have to wait and see where that one's concerned, I think.
And while Moses' reputation soars, Dubois is still scrambling to convince fans he's got anything left in the tank. Dubois talks about giving everything he's got left, and that's the problem, isn't it? He's already fighting from a place of desperation. That's not the mentality of a future champion, that's the mindset of a man clinging to hope. Moses, on the other hand, is just getting started, hungry and fearless.
Yeah, but I'm just thinking about moving forward and how I can improve myself, and yeah, that was my decision. You know, I'm willing to give everything I've got, everything I've got left now at this stage of my career, and you know, become two-time heavyweight champion of the world. That's my goal. I'm willing to do anything to get to that.
When Eddie Hearn puts Moses in the same conversation as AJ, Usyk, and Fury, you know it's serious. That's not hype, that's recognition. Hearn sees what we all see. Moses is a nightmare matchup for any heavyweight. For Dubois, forget nightmare. This is career-ending danger.
But Moses is a problem for everybody. AJ, Usyk, Fury, it doesn't matter who they are, but it's like...
Lawrence Okoli's words might sound casual, but the undertone is respect. He acknowledges Moses as a talented young fighter, and that matters coming from an established pro. Okoli knows talent when he sees it, and he's already clocked that Moses has something special. Notice though, he doesn't give Dubois the same shine. That's telling. Fighters know fighters, they can smell fear, they can read weaknesses, and with Dubois, the aura just isn't there anymore. His biggest nights ended in disaster, while Moses hasn't even scratched the surface of his prime. That's why people inside the sport, not just fans, are leaning towards Itauma. They see him as the fresh danger, the one with the mentality and skills to truly disrupt the heavyweight landscape.
He's a talented young fighter. It'll be good to see him out here. He's also half Nigerian. So it's quite, I didn't.
Spencer Oliver doesn't sugarcoat it. He basically says Dubois has everything to lose if he faces Moses too soon. A defeat here isn't just a loss, it's career regression. Getting beaten by a teenager on the rise? That's not a knock you recover from quickly. Oliver highlights what everyone's thinking. Moses is the dangerous risk, while Dubois is the one who must tread carefully, and that says a lot. Once upon a time, Dubois was meant to be the future. Now the narrative has flipped. People talk about how a fight with Moses could set him back. That's the power of momentum. Moses has it, Dubois doesn't. And in this game, perception is as crucial as performance.
You're potentially taking yourself very far back if you box a young Moses, get beat by Moses, you go like, rebuild now, there's time to rebuild. That fight can brew and it can build, and you can put an extra naught on that paycheck if you take it.
Adam Smith, one of the most respected voices in British boxing, doesn't hand out compliments lightly. When he says Moses Itauma ticks all the boxes, that means the kid has it all: mentality, style, southpaw stance, and power. Smith raises the only real question: is it too soon? But that's not a doubt in Moses. It's a doubt in whether Dubois even deserves to share the ring. Smith knows Dubois has the experience edge, but what he's really pointing out is that Moses has the skills right now to make life miserable for him. The speed, the sharpness, the composure. These are things Dubois has never handled well, and Smith is smart enough to see it.
On the block, Moses Itauma, who looks absolutely extraordinary, and for me, he ticked all the boxes. I like his attitude, I like his style, southpaw, hard-hitting, moves so well. He's going to be very, very difficult to sort of deter. So it's an interesting one because, is this too soon for Moses, or is this just the right fight at the right time?
And when Tony Bellew weighs in, the comparison goes straight to greatness, Usyk level greatness. Tony Bellew doesn't mince words. He puts Moses in the conversation with the very best. Comparing him to Usyk is massive, but Bellew explains why size isn't everything, skill is, and Moses has skills in abundance. Bellew calls him the future of the heavyweight division, and that's not hyperbole. He's looking at the toolkit, movement, balance, shot selection, and seeing something special. Dubois? He never got these kinds of endorsements. At best, people talked about his power, but they never spoke of him as equipped with assets across the board. Moses is already being viewed as a complete fighter, one who could dominate an era. Bellew knows the levels, and he's made it clear Dubois isn't on the same tier.
But he's the next in line. I think he's the future of the heavyweight division. I think he's an outstanding talent. I think he's got a good team around him, Ben Davison and Lee Wiley. Wiley is the brains that study everything, and they use what we call video analysis now in boxing. They're the one team that...
Frank Warren is doing what promoters do best, carefully playing the balancing act. On one hand, he's promising Moses a big step up, a top 10 opponent, the kind of fight that cements credibility. On the other, he's trying to keep Daniel Dubois relevant by slipping his name into the conversation. But the truth is, everyone knows where the buzz is right now. It's not Dubois, it's Moses. Warren understands timing is everything. He's seen prospects mishandled, pushed too soon, or held back too long. But Moses isn't just another prospect, he's a generational talent. That's why Frank almost sounds cautious here. He knows if Moses smashes through a top 10 heavyweight, the comparisons to Dubois won't even be worth mentioning anymore. Dubois, by contrast, is clinging to comebacks, trying to rebuild after collapses on the big stage. Fans can sense the shift. Warren can too. The investment is clear. Moses is the future. Dubois is the past.
I'd like to make it, sorry.
I'd like to do, and we'll see. But he'll fight somebody in the top 10. And we've also got, coming back, Daniel.
When Russ Amber speaks, the boxing world listens. He's not some casual pundit riding the hype wave. He's one of the most respected cornermen and analysts in the sport. And for him to call Moses one of the best young fighters boxing has seen in years is a serious statement. What makes it powerful is how he breaks it down. Not hype, not records, not media spin. He's talking skill set, the fundamentals, the instincts, the way Moses executes in the ring. That's the stuff only real eyes can catch. And according to Russ, Moses is already showing more craft and polish than most fighters his age, or even Dubois ever had in his rise. This isn't about potential anymore, it's about proof. Dubois may have power, but he's always lacked those subtle intangibles. Moses is the opposite. Young, explosive, but also technically sharp and adaptable. When an expert like Russ highlights that, it's game over for comparisons. Moses isn't hype, he's the real deal.
I think Moses is one of the best young fighters boxing has seen in years. And I'm not just saying that based on a result over deal. You know, I hope you understand that when I look at a fighter, I'm looking at things that others don't see. I'm not looking at the hype. I'm looking at what he does in the ring, how he does it, his skill set. You know, I'm looking at that because that's the important stuff. And right now, to me, he's shown probably a better skill set.
And if the insiders are already convinced, even Frank Warren, the man guiding Moses' career, has had to admit that this talent needs careful handling because he's progressing at a ridiculous pace. Frank Warren is absolutely right to stress caution here, because what Moses Itauma is doing is unprecedented. He's blasting through the pro ranks at a pace nobody expected, and yet he doesn't even have the deep amateur background of someone like Dubois, AJ, or Usyk. That makes his rise even more incredible. Warren knows young fighters can burn out if pushed too fast, but the thing is, Moses doesn't look like he's under pressure. He looks like he's enjoying every step, learning as he goes, and making experienced fighters look ordinary. Contrast that with Dubois. He did have the amateur pedigree, the backing, the slow build-up, and yet when the bright lights hit, he folded. Moses is flipping the script. Warren's words aren't doubt, they're admiration disguised as caution, because even he can see Moses is doing in months what others take years to figure out. And if this is him still learning his trade, then Dubois is already miles behind.
You got to be careful. Just slow it down a bit, Moses.
You know, the name of the game in promoting and managing is when you've, especially young fighters, is bring them in and grounding them, learn their trade, and he's doing it very, very quickly. But you got to remember the background he come from. He never had a senior amateur bout. They were junior amateur bouts. You know, we did a deal with him when he was 16. And in that time, when he was junior, he won the European Championships, knocks everybody out in the...
When you step back and look at it, the whole storyline is crystal clear. Moses Itauma is the young lion, charging forward with momentum, skill, and confidence that's frightening for the entire division. Daniel Dubois? He's the wounded animal, clinging to past hype, desperately trying to prove he's still relevant. If Moses beats him, it's not just another win, it's the passing of the torch, the confirmation that a new era has arrived. But if Dubois somehow pulls off the upset, it could be the shock that drags him back into contention and silences critics for good. This is more than a fight, it's a battle for legitimacy, hunger versus desperation. So the question is simple, are you backing Moses Itauma to crush Dubois? Or do you believe Dubois has one last upset left in him? Drop your thoughts below.